members of the OG Army. Get those wallets unfolded. Coming up next on the OtherGround live stage, prepare for an eargasm by Passive J and Big Dalton.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to yet another edition of OtherGround Live. I'm Passive J. That's Big Dalton over there. Say hello, Ryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is July the 9th. It is a Thursday, which should be a Friday. Jay, why is it not Friday? Tell me now.
Because the laws of time and space do not bend at your whim. We still got to do a whole nother day of that. Actually, obviously, I have to do way more of that because I work weekends and pretty much every fucking day in the summer. But it pays the bills. How'd your day go there, Ryan?
I'm surprised I made it here on time, but yeah, it's one of those days.
Oh, Jesus. I see the OG Army's forming up in the chat box. Always glad to see you guys here. We have a couple topics. We have a couple things. Who knows? We might even have a debate or two. What you got, Ryan?
Well, I think the big news of the day, did you see that the Supreme Court has ruled that roughly half of Oklahoma is an Indian reservation?
I strongly disagree about that being the big news of the day, but yes, that is a big one. That happened just recently. It must have happened within the last couple hours because I didn't see anything on the OG about it for most of the day.
I think it's been most of today. I think it was probably around noon or so that I first saw it come out. But yeah, so basically what it is, right, is roughly half of Oklahoma is considered reservation. It doesn't actually change anything as far as like ownership of land or anything like that. But basically what it does is it makes it to where Native Americans can't be arrested for committing crimes in those areas, which is now roughly half the state and pretty much all of Tulsa, like the second largest city in the state.
Wait, they can't be arrested? How does that work?
They can't be charged because it is reservation, which means they fall under Native American law.
Does like I apologize, I don't have a lot of knowledge on this topic. Do Indian reservations normally have their own police then?
Yeah, they have kind of a reservation, like entire kind of legal system.
Okay, does that mean suddenly they're going to expand that quite a bit, or is this basically just appeasing someone's ego or whatever you want to call it, or without actually changing anything?
So basically what this did is this was a case that made it all the way to the Supreme Court of someone that got arrested and basically said that, hey, this is on tribal land. Like, I'm not subject to your law.
That seems odd. Okay.
But that's really, I mean, that's what it is. They have they have their ability to like operate as a sovereign nation. So technically, yes, they could work with like Oklahoma, like, you know, police officers or legal system, but yeah, they're under no real obligation to do that. Yeah, so it's a very interesting thing.
Wow. I'm kind of stunned. I'm kind of speechless. I don't really I can't really comprehend how that's actually going to work out in the future. You said nothing's really going to change as far as ownership though goes, but I can't imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of Indians going on a crime spree or anything like that, but that's basically what they just said they could do.
Well, to a certain part. So once you get into like federal law, then they still kind of fall under that, but they wouldn't fall under like state law.
Weird. Yeah, I guess I'll have to do some research on that and read the articles and stuff because I don't really, have anything to comment on that other than it kind of just blows my mind. And that was the Supreme Court then, so that's the end of it at this point.
Yeah, so this is the way it is. And Fatty's question in the chat. So yes, this technically only applies to tribal citizens. Anybody outside of that, they're still under the laws of the state.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. In a kind of weird thing. I wonder how many official tribal people are left out there.
Quite a few. Oklahoma has quite a bit of a Native American population.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never been out in the western area. I'd like to go sometime. Apparently, there's some really interesting things to see. Um, and I've always wondered if I'd like the desert climate as well.
Dude, it's Oklahoma. It's not really desert or the West.
Yeah, well, that's true.
East
well,
of Texas.
I was in Oklahoma.
Well, it's northeast of Texas.
Yeah, you're right. I guess Oklahoma isn't really a deserty. It's more of like fields of grain, or actually, when I was in there, it was fields of fucking nothing. Yeah, now that I think about it, I used to make jokes about it. You know what Oklahoma's state bird is?
I have no clue. I lived there for a while, and I could not be asked to figure that out.
Exactly. It's air. Their state bird is fucking air. There's nothing in Oklahoma. You can stand on one side of Oklahoma and see the other side of fucking Oklahoma. Not because it's a small state, because it's completely fucking flat with nothing in it.
That's the majority of the Midwest, Jay.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't drive from Oklahoma to Detroit. This was when I was in the Army. They flew me there. I did take a bus back because interesting note, when you join the Army, they fly you to your basic training. And if you get kicked out, you take a fucking bus home. And the bus took about 4 days, I think, because it stopped every fucking time someone farted. It had a million stops. I have no clue how many actually, but it took a long, long time.
Yeah, that would not be a fun bus ride. Like, I know just like drives themselves. So I moved from Iowa to Colorado. That's not a terrible drive, but it sucks because you have to drive across Nebraska, and it is literally nothing. And once you get about halfway into Nebraska, you can start seeing the mountains in Colorado, and they like never get closer. So it seems like you're driving for like 3 days until you get there.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can imagine. We didn't get close enough to see the mountains, but when we drove to Omaha, but the entire fucking hour after hour, day after day of fucking nothing got very weary. It wore on you after quite a while.
Well, it's just because it's so flat, and like the cities are few and far between, and it sucks. Then I moved from Colorado to Oklahoma. That drive really sucked because you go from like this awesome scenery, and it just progressively gets worse as you go. And that was a long fucking drive too. That was not fun. And then Oklahoma to Connecticut, also not super fun because you have to drive through like parts of like Ohio and Indiana, and they're pretty much wasted states anyway.
Right, yeah. I mean, they make people make jokes about flyover states and be mean about it, but there is some states that there's just a lot into it.
Now, Ohio, if they do end up renaming Columbus to Flavortown, I am so taking a trip there.
Yeah, I would be all about that. That would be funny as shit. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that shit, but you never know.
They should. Like, it would up their tourism like several 1,000%, because who's going to Columbus right now?
Fuck. Actually, I drove to Columbus once. Strangely enough, it was for a car meet. Excuse me. Back when I owned a Chevy Cobalt, which obviously is just a shitbox car, but as I think I've mentioned before, they had like a sporty model that was supercharged, and you could do all kinds of things to modify it and shit like that. And there was a national car club for it. It was an internet thing. CobaltSS.com was the name of the website. I was actually a moderator on it for one point. It was a big ass website. It's bigger than the fucking OG is now. And they had a national car meet for them in Columbus, Ohio, of all things. And since that's close enough to Michigan for me to drive, I did so. And it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive or some shit like that. But we had like 90 or 100 and 120 fucking, we did it twice actually, now I think about it. But you had 120 fucking Chevy Cobalts show up for a car meet in different spots. It's funny because it's not, a cool car at all, but it had to have been fucking weird for the just random people that saw us meeting up for it, because one time it was in a park, and we took up like a shitload of their parking spots. Park people weren't actually too happy about it, but it was a good time. But Columbus didn't strike me as like a horrible city or anything like that. It seemed like just like any other city I've ever been in.
Yeah, I can't say that I ever remember being in that city. I know I've been through Ohio. But speaking of odd performance cars, did you hear about this Ford Focus that got ticketed for going 436 miles an hour?
Yeah, it wasn't even an ST. That's really fucking impressive. oh, excuse me. I'm gotta put the dog down. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry about that. The dog needed to get down. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that was a mistake.
Yeah, it was in Italy. It was one of those speed cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it just freaked out, and for some reason logged it as 703 kilometers an hour, which is roughly 436 miles per hour.
Right. Well, the fun part is they went ahead and sent her the ticket.
Right. Yeah. So that part's super fun. How would you handle that, Jay? One of these days you're sitting at home and all of a sudden you get a ticket in the mail saying your little Fiesta was going, 300 miles an hour.
Probably the same way as I handled it when I got a ticket from New York claiming that I crossed a toll bridge with my Jeep. This is like about a year ago in the middle of the winter, and I've never been in the state of New York, much less the city of New York. So that was an interesting phone call. They claimed that they had video evidence of it. They because as you drive by, they take a picture of your plate. So the first thing I did was make sure the plate was still in my fucking car, which it was. So they were like, "Oh, we have video evidence." I'm like, "Well, could you possibly take a look at it? Because I'm driving a Jeep, fucking not a Wrangler, a Jeep Renegade." She goes, "Oh, well, this picture doesn't look like a Jeep." I'm like, "Well, I will say the Renegade doesn't look like a Jeep either. It looks like a little small SUV. Does that look like a little small S? No, it's a car." I'm like, "Okay, well then clearly a mistake has been made here." And they ended up getting rid of the ticket and shit like that. But it was amazing. Once we were speaking about the facial recognition software not always being awesome, apparently plate reading software is not always that awesome either, because that's what it did. It read the plate and then sent me a ticket because it thought it was my plate.
And you didn't just blindly pay it? What's wrong with you, Jay?
Well, I had to sit there and think about it. I'm like, have I ever been to New York? Do I run tolls in New York? Is that what I do? No, I don't think I do that. I don't think I've ever been there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and fight this shit.
Yeah, I wonder, did they just get the state wrong, or like what was it?
That's possible too. But Sly had an idea. He said somebody might have made a paper license plate and put it over theirs because they intended to do this kind of shit, and it just happened to be my number. You never know. Oh, he said a whole bunch of people did it in California. Now they don't give tickets for cameras. Well, maybe they need to do that in New York too, because that was some bullshit. I don't know. It was one of those things where I knew it wasn't going to come to anything, so I was more amused than anything else. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can beat this shit. So, and that's how the call went down. They weren't horrible about it. They start off disbelieving because they have people call to dispute their shit all the fucking time, I would imagine. But I had a pretty good excuse, never being within 3 states of their state at any time.
Did you hear the guy in Arizona, and this has been a few years back, that his way of getting around it was he wore a mask in his car every single day and racked up like 100 speeding tickets. And the state ended up actually having to make it illegal to wear a mask in your car.
Oh, shit. I wonder if they still have that law on the books.
Well, this was like a Halloween type, like decorative, stupid mask to, make sure they can't see your face.
Right.
And even with now, like, you probably shouldn't be wearing a mask in your car anyway, unless you are like carpooled with a bunch of people, because otherwise, what are you doing? Protecting yourself from yourself?
Right, exactly. It's well, some people, I mean, I've caught myself wearing it and just not realize it because you get in the car, not that often because they are fairly uncomfortable, but I went down the road a mile or two and went, oh shit, I can take this off.
Good job, Jay. But yeah, I guess I could see that with you having to wear that goddamn thing as much as you do. I'm sure you just forget it's there.
Yeah. You wouldn't think you will, but after wearing it for fucking 12 hours, but it's always on my days off because when I get off of work, that's the very first fucking thing I do. I don't even make it to my car. That thing's off when I'm 2 steps out of the door. I will like to address something since we're talking about it. I'm blocking motherfuckers left and right. They try. What is happening here is they change their name and try to come back in, which is why you keep on seeing all these people join the live cast, but they can't actually join. So his new idea is to just change his name into something that he thinks is amusing and try to log in a whole bunch of different times. But I can go ahead and ignore that motherfucker. It's working out great so far.
Well, so let's actually address this. And it's not people, it's one person. And to have literally dozens and dozens and dozens of accounts on PodBean, like how much of a sociopathic loser sitting in a basement do you have to be to do that?
Yeah, I don't really understand it. I don't know why he decided to start fucking around, and but I'm not going to let him ruin the quality of the show for the people that do enjoy it. Some people come here just for the chat box, and I'm not going to let him fuck that shit up for him. So so I am going to block anybody that even has a sense of being a bad person or not being who they say they are. Like some people, it's easy to check. So all I have to do is look at their profile for half a second. It's not like it's a fucking riddle. So they can even impersonate somebody else, and I know who they are. So I'm assuming he'll get tired of that bullshit after a while. Blocking something takes me a half a fucking second.
Yeah, he just wants attention, and it's kind of sad. Like, honestly, whatever's going on in your life for us, like, I hope you get it figured out. Because right now, like, you are a sad, sad individual. And, like, I honestly do hope you find something to, like, make you not as broken. But in other news...
Yeah, dude, I get fucking fucked with all day on the fucking internet. That's not a big deal to me. You know what? I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I thought he was a cool dude. So that's the only reason it bothers me is because I misjudged someone completely. Oh well, fuck him. On to other news.
I thought he was a sane individual, and that's where it's broken. There's legit something wrong with that guy, and I hope he gets it figured out. Speaking of getting things figured out, so we have been talking about all the fun stuff going on in Russia. The newest thing there is they're proposing easing laws around corruption. Because sometimes corruption just can't be avoided, and you shouldn't be punished in those cases.
That is a very interesting statement. I would love to meet the fuck they want, I assume.
Sorry, it just forced me to restart. What were you saying, Jay?
I was going to say that must have been a hell of a lawyer who wrote that shit up. I'm assuming it's just something to allow the government to do whatever the fuck they want with less repercussions.
Yeah, it's just saying, so the proposed rule says officials and public figures would be exempt if objective circumstances made it impossible for them to not be corrupt.
Oh, well, once again, that must have been a hell of a lawyer who wrote that shit up. So basically, they're saying, it's not their fault that they're corrupt. It's because of the situation they're in. They're forced to take those bribes.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, Russians are becoming very, very interesting lately.
Yeah. As we mentioned before, I sure as fuck wouldn't want to live there, but it does become an interesting place because of all this shit. I mean, Russia videos are just by themselves are a thing of unique beauty, I guess, because apparently because of all the corruption and all this fucked up government, most Russians just don't seem to give a fuck about anything.
Well, it's a hard life over there. Like, just if nothing else, the weather. Like, imagine fucking winter in Russia.
Yeah. I mean, Russia is such a big place. I assume there's like more southern climates and stuff. But when you think cold weather and shitty places, Siberia is the first thing you fucking think of. I wonder if they still send people there, because I know that used to be an old Russian thing to do. If you got in trouble with the government, like of a political nature, they would just snatch you up and send you to a work camp in Siberia.
I think they just kill you now, or you commit suicide now.
Man, those poor people. That just sucks. What else you got, boss?
That whole thing where you fall down and accidentally shoot yourself several times in the back.
Yeah. He shot himself with a shotgun twice.
So, in great troll news, I'm sure you've seen this one, that New York City painted Black Lives Matter right in front of Trump Tower.
Yeah. I heard something about that. Okay. I mean, I feel two ways about that. I understand they're trying to get their message out, but I mean, do you like that they painted it just on the street or something?
Yeah, it's just a mural on the street, kind of like the same thing they did in like DC and some other places. It's just, of course, New York City did take the troll angle and put it obviously at that location for a reason, as opposed to just
Right.
some random street.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting kind of silly. Would be my thing. They made their point. And what I saw on a related note. Sorry, I'm thinking about something. Speaking of vandalism, did you see that thing about in Vancouver? I think it was up in Canada.
No, what happened in Vancouver?
Well, they had like a rainbow crosswalk, to support gay rights and all that good stuff. And they're currently looking for a suspect because it was vandalized.
How was
You
it
know how it was
vandalized?
Oh well, someone put a tire mark across it.
So
Like yeah,
yeah.
and you can tell just by looking at it. It's not a straight tire mark; it's a curving one. So someone was coming around a corner, that corner there, and fucking was too hot with it. Yeah, but they're serious. They're asking for the public's help because they think it might be a hate crime.
No, it's just somebody either just kind of joyriding around in their car having a fun time, or somebody that just doesn't know how to drive.
Yeah, there's no way. That's fucking. It's. I read that. I was like, really? I just fucking. It just amazed me that someone could possibly think that that's going to be a hate crime and shit.
Yeah, that is just absolutely ridiculous. But speaking of Canada, did you hear
Mhm.
about this female Mountie that was getting in trouble for groping a fellow officer?
What?
Yeah, female
Normally,
Mountie.
that's the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's surprising right there. Okay, first off, I'm surprised that they still actually have fucking Mounties. Two, I'm surprised that there's a female Mountie. And three, I'm just amazed that she's the one doing the groping. Canada must be very progressive.
Yeah, she fondled the genitals of one of her fellow constables and then
Oh
was
my.
also making inappropriate sexual comments. She lost 20 days of pay and 10 vacation days, but was not fired.
Oh, well, okay. That seems kind of unfair because if a male had done that to a female, not only would be fired, there'd most likely be criminal charges.
Yeah, more than likely, especially in Canada. Like, that stuff doesn't really fly there, I don't think.
No, So I don't know. That's kind of fucking weird. I don't really have much else to say to that, just because that just seems unfair. It's well, the one time we need fucking Uncle Canada, he's not here to talk about it, huh?
I know, right? Well, I mean, maybe he was the one that was getting groped. Maybe he's under an NDA now.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Uncle Canada, did you see that shit with Pat?
Oh, the second DUI?
Yeah. Unfortunate to say, past guest of our show, Pat Militich, picked up his second DUI a couple days ago, which can never be good, obviously. Apparently, he has a problem about it that we were unaware of.
Well, yeah, it's the second over the course of what, like a year and a half? I don't remember the time frame, but it's relatively recent.
I think about 2 years because he said something about that he'd been 2 years sober or something like that.
I mean, if nothing else, so at least his story behind it isn't quite as bad. So he was drunk and he was driving. So yes, that was fucking terrible. But then he realized he was fucking up, pulled over and went to sleep. And then got, didn't get pulled over, but the cops found him and charged him, I guess. At least that was his story. I don't know what the official story is, but I don't see any reason why he would lie about it. So I'm guessing that's what happened.
Yeah. I don't know. Dude, I don't want to think or talk bad about the gentleman, but his statement while being an apology was so chock full of excuses. It's like, yeah, I did that, but here's why it's not my fault. And I just might be the way I was reading it, but it's unfortunate no matter which way you look at it. A lot of people look up to that dude, and shit, he's got a charity fight coming up here at some point.
Yeah, that can't be any good for that. Like, you're drinking and getting fucked up, like when you should be training for a fight, like that might not go the best.
Yeah. I mean, well, according to him, that was like the first time in a long time or something like that. But when it comes to addictions, you can't really believe what people say. I mean, you got to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, there's no reason not to believe what he said, so let's go with that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, who are we to judge the guy here? We've all got our own problems.
I have zero problems, Jay. Besides the fact I'm
Okay,
still
Mister.
fucking in pain and getting like 3 hours of sleep a night.
It's not getting any better. I mean, I imagine you're bruised up pretty good at this point, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad. Every day it gets a little bit better. So, I mean, it is what it is. I still get a few hours of sleep. It's enough to function. Just can't really like work out or anything, which is more irritating than anything else. So we're good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We spoke about that and how fucking annoying it is to not be able to work out when you want to. I've been talking with other people about their various workout things, and this entire pandemic thing sucks for a lot of people because most people aren't used to working out at home. It's apparently we're the minority. Most people want to go to their gyms, especially if you do shit like cardio uh, and anything but basically fucking push-ups and sit-ups in their house. It's amazing how quickly it goes south, especially if you're an older gentleman. The one of the managers at my work, uh, is a guy like in his 60s, and but he's always looked fucking buff because he worked out 7 fucking days a week, an hour a day. He didn't do like heavy weights and shit like that, but he'd do curls and this and that and the other. And he looked amazing when I saw him like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago when he was like in his late 50s, at the pool for a company appreciation day. Fucking, he still had a fucking six pack and shit. But then I saw him this June when we all came back to work, and he hasn't been able to work out like he wants to for like 4 or 5 or 6 months almost, and he looks like fucking shit. I'm like, holy goddamn, dude! It doesn't take long when you're old to have it all go away.
Well, and it's just part of really kind of the way things go, right? So, like, I put on like 30 pounds with the whole fucking pandemic thing. So, like, first of all, I was dealing with some back stuff, so I couldn't work out the way I normally would. Second of all, pandemic, so I just basically ordered all of my food because fuck it, why not? Might as well try to, help support some of the local places. All of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, I got fat. That's not cool.
Yeah. Oh, but you were still doing some fairly serious workouts. It's just, you weren't able to, you just didn't adjust your calorie intake to the fact that you were
eating shit.
You were eating shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess you said, that you were also not able to work out in various ways because of your back injury as well. Do you think that made a pretty big difference in like the calories you burned and shit like that?
Oh, absolutely. Like you go from fucking burning, several thousand calories over the course of a workout to not being able to do like half of that. Like, yeah, that's going to completely screw you up because your body's used to taking in a certain amount a day, knowing that you're going to burn through it. And then all of a sudden it's just being stored. That's never good.
Yeah, exactly. So, and just when you said just when you were trying to focus on that to get rid of it was when you had your accident. So now you're fucked all over again.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I think I'm just meant to be like in a wheelchair at some point.
Oh, geez, don't say that. That's supposed to be my line.
No, you'll just flat out die.
Yeah, unfortunately. But no, I think everyone says that. I think I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna buck the odds. There's no way I'm kicking out of here early. I realize that's not what my family history has shown, but I'm gonna break the trend. God damn it! Shit. What else you got, dude?
Not a lot else. Did you see also that China has passed a kind of a crazy law too?
Oh, what's that?
So any company that has any sort of business in China, these Chinese laws will now require them to disclose all of their cybersecurity, like preparations and network information, even for their locations outside of China.
Really? That's going to affect a whole bunch of businesses, I would assume.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually going to work. Like, who's going to actually let China poke around in their shit outside of China?
Right.
But they're trying to say it's all like, security related and it won't be anything political or anything like that. But who really buys that one?
Yeah, you can't trust China with shit like that. One of my favorite episodes of Top Gear. Are you familiar? I think you're familiar with that series, I assume, right?
I never watched much of it, but yeah, I knew what it was.
Right. One of my favorite episodes they ever did was they went to China and basically just pointing out all the cars that the Chinese ripped off from other car companies because they don't pay any attention to copyrights and shit over there. So there's a whole bunch of cars driving around that look like other cars. So there is not a chance in hell I would let China into any kind of private information of any importance at all. They obviously can't be trusted.
No, not at all. And did we talk about the other law that they had passed?
What was that?
Where they basically made it to where it's illegal to basically talk ill of like the Chinese government to anyone anywhere in the world.
Really? That's unfortunate. That is going to really. When did that happen?
That's actually been relatively recent, and a lot of it had to do like with all the backlash from the Hong Kong things. But yeah, they're going to the point where they're trying to like get people like extradited back to China, like people that are off like going to college places if they make tweets against like the Chinese rule. Like all sorts of crazy shit like that. But yeah, their law is specifically worded like anyone in the world, like, you know, disagreeing with the Chinese government, like that shit's illegal.
God damn, dude. Fucking, I am so glad I live in America. It has its problems, but holy shit, the other options aren't fucking shitty. I mean, I'm sure obviously there's a lot of countries out there better than China, but man.
But yeah, you don't want to go visit China now, because if you said anything crazy like on any social media or anything else, like who's to say they don't? Yeah, who's to say they don't just keep you there in a fucking box?
Yeah, I mean, you realize we beat the odds just by being born, because the odds are you're going to be born Chinese. Anything else is like bucking the odds, so to speak.
Well, not really. There's also India. Like you're.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like those are your two highest odds, and then us. Like we aren't really bucking the odds that much. Like really bucking the odds is like being what, like Chilean.
Oh, I don't know. Is Chilean a pretty small population altogether?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying though. Yes, very true. Let's see. Turns out I have stuff too. We already talked about the rainbow tire marks. I saw this the other day, and I forgot to bring it up. Did you see that since we're talking about China, Trump is considering a ban on TikTok?
Yeah, so India has already done that along with a whole bunch of other Chinese apps. Yeah. Because pretty much all of them are probably mining your data.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so, but that's not why Trump wants to block it. He wants to block it as retribution on China.
Well, yeah, he wants to do it because there was a bunch of people that got together on TikTok, and they were one of the reasons that the Tulsa rally got so many reservations for tickets.
Yeah.
That people, weren't going to show up for anyway. So, yeah, I'm sure he was kind of pissed about that. But it may be a good idea to do anyway. Like, it's probably not a good idea to have that app on anything that you have personal information on.
Yeah. But it was just funny that the way that Trump worded it. Basically, he wasn't talking about any kind of security concerns about them worried about getting information. It was just in retribution for the Chinese releasing or the way they handled the entire coronavirus thing.
Yeah, that how you make that leap, I don't know how that is a thing at all.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think the Chinese handled it poorly as far as letting other people know about it. That they should have let the other countries know about it way before they did. It would have spread a lot less. But the entire theory that they did it on purpose or anything like that, I think is ridiculous.
Well, even that. How you jump from that to banning TikTok? Like that's what?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's retaliatory. He even said that as punishment for them doing that, he should ban TikTok, because I assume it makes China a whole bunch of money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it makes them a shit ton of money. One other thing that does make China money is they're amping up production of anti-China memorabilia to be sold in India.
You got to respect that. You got to respect the chase for the dollar. That's pretty fucking impressive.
They'll still produce anything you fucking want as long as they're getting paid for it.
So I don't know. Maybe I should start making Passive J Sucks t-shirts. I could probably make them a lot of money like that. Fucking it's like No, maybe not though.
Yeah, I don't think people hate you that much to actually pay for it, Jay.
Yep.
Except for Sly, apparently.
Yeah. See, Sly will buy 10 of those. Okay, Sly, I see how you are.
It's okay. He'll also buy 10 I Love Passive J shirts, and then he can just wear them according to his mood.
Right. Shit. Let's see. What else do I got today? Let me look at my notes. Did you see that employees inside Ford have started a petition to try to ask the Ford company, motor company, to stop making police cars?
Like, that's just so fucking stupid. Yeah, let's just shoot ourselves in the foot. Like, cops need cars. The Crown Vic has been the police car for like 80 years. Like, why would you stop?
Yeah, and that's what the CEO said. No, we're not going to go ahead and stop, which makes sense because they make a lot of money on that. Hold on a second, I'm typing something. This is really professional.
Well, and while you're doing that, so did you hear we finally have like the reverse mask freakout case? There was a security guard in California that shot someone for not wearing a mask, as opposed to non-mask wearing person shooting a security guard.
Really? I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the guy doing his job, but fucking that seems a little excessive, just not for wearing a mask.
Yeah, sadly, I don't have a bunch of detail on that one. I just kind of saw the headline, so I'm sure the person like tried to like physically confront the guard or whatever. But yep, security guard shot someone for not wearing a mask.
Wow. Let's see what Tenor thinks about that. What do you think about that, boss? And welcome to the show.
That was a White Claw in solidarity.
Goddamn right.
Goddamn. Yeah, what happened to fucking Dalton doing that to begin every show? I missed that.
So my noise gate doesn't catch it anymore.
Oh, right on. How you been, Tenor, man?
See. I'm good, man. I'm on spotty campground Wi-Fi, so if I start cutting out, please let me know.
Oh yeah, certainly. Wow, off camping, huh?
Yeah, I'm off camping, and it is hot as balls in upstate New York. I'm sure it's hot where you guys are at. It's like 97 fucking degrees right now.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid hot over here too. And normally my window air conditioners, I don't have central air. I have a couple window air conditioners in the house. It's small. It normally does it. Not fucking today. The front of the house is nice and cool. Where I'm back here doing the broadcast, it's hot as fuck. I mean, I'm sitting here in my underwear at this point. That's how hot it is. But I certainly would.
I'm in my underwear in the middle of the campground with my beer gut out, drinking a White Claw right now.
It's okay. I'm fully nude, but I'm inside the house, and it's a nice 65 degrees.
Oh God!
Are you masturbating while simultaneously eating a bowl of red Jello?
No, but that is absolutely on the calendar for later.
Shit. So, where you at? I mean, if you can tell us a little bit more, where you at camping? Oh, I'm sorry. I asked where you camping at. You said upstate up New York. Uh-oh. No. Oh no. Well, it was a good call. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, dude. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I'm losing you guys. I just turned the Wi-Fi off, so maybe that's a little better. You still hear me then?
Yep. Oh yeah, I can hear you, sir. Yep. So where you camping at?
All right, so I'm just in a little campground in upstate New York, right on the lake. I've got my kids, I got the dogs, both dogs, the wife, the camper, the bicycles, the whole nine, man. I'm doing the whole, family truck, P Green family truckster, if you know what I mean.
Wow, nice. How long are you up there for?
It's just 4 days. Doing 4 days here. And then I've got another 4 days scheduled in August. And then I'll probably do another 4 or 5 in later August. So we try to get 15 or 20 days a year out of the camper. I don't have a seasonal pass where I just park the thing and can go whenever I want. So it's kind of tough. You got to plan things. And people nowadays, man, if you're not on it, like anybody who camps or has an RV or anything can tell you, if you're not on it in like January, February, March, man, shit just dries up in campgrounds and you just got to piece stuff together.
Okay, how big is your camper?
It's 32 feet. It's made by Winnebago, who are pretty. They're known for making RVs, but this is a travel trailer, so I tow it behind my truck.
Okay.
It's got one slide out, got bunk beds, a full queen size bed in a separate bedroom. I mean, it's not camping; it's glamping.
Right.
It's full central air. I go inside right now, like I'm sweating so bad right now in my tidy whities out here. But if I go inside right now, it's probably a cool and comfortable 68 degrees in there.
Nice. Yeah, we looked at that kind of thing too because we found that those sort of things are way less expensive if they don't have a motor in them. But of course, then you need something to pull it behind you as well.
Yeah, they are. It was still probably 30 fucking grand, Jay.
Oh yeah,
those things aren't cheap.
But you're talking the difference between 30 grand and like 100 grand.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And recently, I don't know if you guys ever go down the rabbit hole on Amazon and you get into something and all of a sudden you start buying up everything on Amazon for what you're about to get into. I'm sure you do that, Jay.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, all the time.
So you guys know that I'm a mountain biker. I recently got into like gravel bikes, and for 3 years I wanted to start bike packing. Bike packing it's basically it's like hiking but with your bike. You're riding your bike and you're camping off of your bike. So there's all these crazy braze-ons where you can hook bags up to your bike and just I'm talking a pedal bike.
Right.
Take your pedal bike out and go camping off of it.
That'd be cool.
You use all the lightweight like hiker gear, backpacks and camp, sleeping bags and all that stuff. So I've been talking about doing this shit for 3 years. Obviously I have like 14 bicycles. So I'm like, I got to designate one for my camping bike, my bike packing bike. So I've got that designated. And I decided probably 2 weeks ago that it's a go. I'm doing it. It's finally fucking time. I'm the type of person who I like to internalize things. I like to think about them, if not obsess about them before I do them. Mm-hmm. And I've been thinking about this for 3 years, so 2 weeks time. And I tell you what, my dining room at home looks like a shipping and receiving fucking unit, man. There's just Amazon boxes with tents and bike packing like bags to set my bike up with, and sleeping bags and cook stoves and all types of crazy fucking shit. I went down the rabbit hole.
So basically,
that's the new foray that I'm getting into. I scouted out a route.
Yeah. You got all robotic and lost you for a second, but yeah, we got you back now, sir.
Hello. Oh, all right. So yeah, I stepped a foot to the
there you
left.
Go. Stay right there. It's
where
perfect.
I'm at, then. Oh yeah. So yeah, a buddy of mine and I scouted out a route, and it's really it's like a 20-mile route. It's not like I'm going to go 700 miles. I'm not going to Spain and doing whatever that huge walk or hike is they do out there, maybe later. But this is a 20-mile route, but there's quite a bit of climbing. It's a 20-mile round route, or 24 miles round trip. So it's about 12 miles in, 12 miles out. And in that 12 miles, there's a good probably 1,800 to 2,000 feet of climbing. So it's definitely, yeah, there's a lot of hills. But I found this remote campsite in a it's not a campsite, but I'm going to deem it a campsite, because the state parks here, you can have not state parks, but the state forest lands have what they call primitive camping. So if you're 150 feet off trail or off the nearest road, you can camp for as long. I think you can go 10 days before you get a permit. So yeah, we can ride in. I'm only going to do an overnighter just to test the gear out, test things out, and see how it goes. But that's the new thing. That's what my OCD is getting into right now, because when I get into shit, I'm super obsessive compulsive. So that's what I'm obsessing about right now.
So Alone season 8, Tenor.
Now it's funny you say that, because I'm the same way, and apparently it runs in the family. I didn't hear the story until my dad passed away, but one of the people that got up and talked about him, talked about how when he was into something, all in. Like I guess apparently back in the 70s, there was a thing called like slot car racing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the old slot cars, but apparently at one point it was a thing. You know, not just like the little tracks that we had when we were kids with the little cars that go in the slots and you push the trigger thing and it goes around and around. These were like big boy versions of that. And apparently, my dad went from finding out about it to owning a shop that sold the shit like over the course of like 2, maybe 3 years.
Oh, no shit, man. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I drive myself psychotic getting into stuff, man. When I was into jujitsu, I would stay up all hours of the night and watch, Marcelo Garcia videos and, look at Jacare Souza, all his greatest freaking takedowns and submissions. And I would be sick. I would think about jujitsu all day long, you know, just in any situation too, street, gym, it didn't matter. I was always thinking about choking the shit out of somebody. And I say that that probably sounds bad coming from me, but I say it in the most appropriate manner with two people engaged into a combat situation. So I just let me throw that disclaimer out before someone fucking calls me out.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Yeah, no, I can understand it. I'm the same way. I suspect Ryan is as well, considering his workout routine. You the same way there, dude?
Oh, absolutely. So like I've gone down deep holes as far as like workout stuff, supplementation. Like I've been sitting up at 3 a.m. in the morning reading some like clinical paper about some random supplement. And I just find myself halfway through just like, what the fuck am I doing? But then I can't stop.
Yeah, clinical papers are the worst. Or if you're say you got an injury and you read the clinical analysis of like a labrum tear, and it's just so fucking awful, but you just can't stop.
Yeah,
we've all got a bit of crazy here.
Yeah, just a little bit. Oh man, so I almost used up my very few topics I had. You got anything else, Ryan, or are we just going to spitball for the last 15 minutes?
No, we're just going to shoot the shit, boys.
Shoot the shit, boys.
Shit. Shooting the shit, boys.
Goddamn, yeah. So, let me hop over to the mighty Yahoo News, and we'll find something to talk about here right quick.
Well, while you're doing that, Tenor, who you got in the big fights this weekend?
Oh yeah.
You know what? Honestly, Ryan, since I've been off the OG or OG, I don't even know who's fighting. Break them. Why don't you throw me the fights and I'll give you my picks if that's not fucking things up for the show.
No, fucking sure. Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's just we'll hit the main cards because really that's all that matters anymore. Give me just a second to get it pulled up. So first fight of the main card, and it's a barn burner. Amanda Ribas versus Paige Van Zant.
I don't know who Amanda Ribas is. I know who Paige Van Zant is. I think she's been taking too many naked pictures with her boyfriend in the kitchen with his face right in her ass. So I'm going to go with the Ribas chick.
And I think we were all on Ribas when we did our picks, so you're right there. Second fight of the main card, Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas.
I happen to think, I know a lot of the OG or the UG used to love Namajunas. I happen to think that she is mentally broken. I don't know if it was the McGregor fucking bus incident, but it seems like she mentally after that, something happened to her, something switched. I'm going with Andrade with a finish.
See, it's interesting you say that because I just saw an article this morning, I think it was, where she said how calm and confident she was coming into this fight. And I think anytime you need to point out how calm and confident you are, you're not.
Yeah, a lot of times, that can be a kind of be a like a smoke show, a smoke screen for people. I don't know. I haven't felt good about her in a very, very long time. I think mentally, we all know, I mean, anybody that follows the sport knows she came from a rough place. Pat kind of took her in and became her mentor / boyfriend. Who am I to tell people they, judge people and say they have mental problems? I don't fucking know. It just seems mentally she's not all there and hasn't been for a very long time, and that's not a diss. I mean, mental health is a huge issue in society nowadays. So it's not me saying she's weak-minded. I think she's got some issues, man, and I could be wrong. I don't know her like that, but as an outsider looking in, I'm just going to go ahead and say I think she's not all there as far as being in the game.
Well, you also have the fact that Jessica Andrade has more testosterone than Jay.
That's not a high bar, actually, but I get your point.
That's not a high bar. She's got very round shoulders. She's got nice shoulder caps.
Yeah.
So,
and go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to give the next fight. So if you have a point, get it in right now, Jay.
No, I was just going to make up some bullshit. Go ahead.
All right, so next fight's the bantamweight title fight. Piotr Yan versus Jose Aldo.
Oh, I got Jan all day on that. Probably by a KO.
Yeah, I think we all had Jan when we went over it as well.
Still there? Can't hear you.
Yeah. We all had Jan, but we all kind of wanted to see Aldo pull it off, though.
That however you pronounce his first name, I always heard it Piotr. That dude he's next level. And he's got that crazy. Is he Russian or what is he? Is he Uzbekistan? What is he? Is he a Stan or is he Russian?
That's a good. He's Russian.
He's Russian. It doesn't matter whether you're Russian, whether you're from one of the Stans. It doesn't fucking matter. They're different, and I've said it before. I think you guys know my opinion on those guys. We're all humans, but they're a different breed of human. You know, we're fucking pussies over here. We're pussified. We're worried about shit that doesn't matter to anybody. Those guys are surviving, they just have a different mentality. And anytime you get somebody that's supremely skilled and couple that with a mentality from where they came from and how hard it is to live there, they're hard to beat, man.
Oh yeah. It's because as you guys have talked about before, a lot of the fight game is mental. It's what you can push through and what you can endure, both in training and in the actual match. And those guys have a mindset that doesn't allow them to even think about that being an option to quit.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going him all day. Probably stoppage in the second.
Yeah. Next fight, co-main event. Yeah. This one should be a fun one. Again, for a title, we've got Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway.
Oh, god damn. This is a rematch, right?
Yep.
Oh, dude. Damn, Volk looked so good the first time they fought. I didn't think it as close as everybody thought it was. I mean, people were saying it could have been a robbery. I didn't think it was a robbery by any means. I think it was a clear-cut victory for that dude. As much as I like Max and he's a warrior and I like his fighting style and he's smooth, I'm going with Volk. I have to. What was the consensus with you guys?
For the most part, the same, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I might have went Holloway just because I kind of wanted him to win. But, like, the thing I worry about with Holloway, and it just may be him as a person, but he seems like he's getting slowly more and more punchy.
Well, is it that, or is it more the recency bias of when that shit happened with him, where he was slurring his words and they pulled him from the Nurmagomedov? He was gonna fight there. Was it that one where he had that weird interview and then all of a sudden they pulled him?
Yeah, it was that one. But just like listening to him from fight to fight, he seems to be getting like slightly more and more towards that kind of slurred space.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been following the sport too closely. But yeah, there was definitely something wrong with him that time around. And it seems like with these fighters who, they've been hit around, they're fine. And it's not a slow decline. All of a sudden you get that decline and it fucking happens fast. And maybe he's in the middle of that. I'm not sure. But Volk looked really, really good that first fight. I got to go with him. And how old is he? He was a professional rugby guy, right? So he's not a young guy just that exploded on the scene, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't have his age handy, but yeah, I don't think so either.
He's been a professional athlete for a long time. He's got some wear and tear, but probably not. I didn't play rugby. You did, Ryan. I know you guys don't wear pads per se, but how common is concussions in rugby?
Concussions, you're not going to get a lot because you're not going to do that full, like, you're both sprinting head on into each other like you get with football. It's more kind of wrapping up kind of tackles. Like, you do have some collisions in it, but yeah, I wouldn't say like the head trauma is anywhere near as bad as football. Like, the rest of you gets beat up more, but not the head.
Shoulder separations like collarbone break, shit like that.
Yeah, a lot of that where you'll kind of wrap up and end up on the ground with, you know, a 300-pound Samoan on top of you that runs a 4.3.
Dude, I love it. The last time I had a 300-pound Samoan on top of me, it was fucking bliss. that was very Charlie Sheenish. Was that not very Charlie Sheenish? After I said, I was like, that sounded like fucking Charlie Sheen right there.
That sounds like something he might say. He would just add winning at the end.
Yeah.
Winning.
So, final fight of the night, main event, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal.
Dude, as much as I want Maz to fucking win, Usman is a fucking monster. He's a cardio machine. His stand-up isn't bad. His wrestling is amazing for MMA. I don't see how Mas does this. I don't, a lot of people say he's got a. I don't even know if he's got a puncher's chance. And I'll eat crow if Masvidal comes out and knocks that dude out, which he's capable of. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not capable of it, but I just don't see it happen. I think Usman is too strong on the ground. Wrestling. I think his stand-up is.
Oh, you moved to your right, dude.
I don't know, man. What did you guys? How am I now? Am I good?
There you go. Now you're back. Better. See, you can't move. Yeah, you can't move. You got to stay right underneath that metal awning. That's broadcasting your signal to us.
All right.
Yeah, we pretty much said the same thing.
So, all right, I'm going Usman. I don't think Masvidal on short notice, especially. This is a tough fight for Masvidal with a full camp.
He took it on 6 days.
On short notice, cutting whatever he's got to cut, 26 pounds. Yeah, man. If he could do it, I would love for him to do it. My heart goes with Masvidal all day long, 100%. My mind goes with Usman all day, 100%.
I did the same thing. I picked Masvidal just based on what I wanted to see happen. But yeah, on 6 days' notice, hell, he just got cleared from quarantine to leave his hotel room in Abu Dhabi today. So that leaves him, roughly 12 hours or so to cut whatever he has left.
Jesus, and he was eating pizza on the plane while he was flying in.
Well, supposedly he only had one bite. They stopped over in Italy, and he said, "Hey, I love pizza, and it's fucking Italy. Like, I got to feed the team." So they got some pizza in Italy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little bit better.
Is that not like the most Masvidal thing to do right there? Just stop. We're stopping in Italy. I got to have at least one bite of pizza, guys.
Yeah, that's the absolute peak Masvidal thing. Probably wearing a bathrobe while he did it.
Right. Now, I did want to cover one more MMA thing before we got out of here, and I thought it was going to be the first story of the day for us. How about Platinum Mike Perry, guys?
Oh, God. Well, I'll give him one thing over Conor McGregor. At least when he punches a fat old man, he knocks him out.
Oh, well, you haven't heard about... Oh, yeah, you've been out in the wilderness, Tenor, without any interactions with him. Yeah, he got into a bar fight last night. I don't know what's going on in the world. Yeah, he got into a bar fight and basically looked like he... Yeah, and he punched out the guy that, diabetes guy. That's what the guy looked like, Wilford Bremley or whatever his name is.
Well, apparently, I think he punched somebody before that, and then when they got him out of the bar...
Wilford Bremley?
Yeah, dude, knocked him out bad, too. And gets fucking knocked out.
Yeah, that was...
I prefer the old time. I don't know about where you guys are, but the old timers around here, when they talk about somebody with diabetes, they call it the old timers. They call it the sugar. Yeah. They say, "What happened to Ethel? Is she still around?" And then, somebody go, "No, the sugar got her." I fucking love it when somebody calls the fucking diabetes the sugar.
I think I've heard that before. That's funny as hell.
That's
yeah,
an old-timer
supposedly
too.
he might have. Yeah, now supposedly he also might have punched his girlfriend. There's conflicting reports on that, and as Ryan said, he might have punched somebody before the guy he got on camera as well. So it
And
was
then he
not a
just
good night
started
for Mike
screaming
Perry.
the N-word. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
listen, I saw his 23andMe, and he's like 10% sub-Saharan African, so he's fine with that, guys. We all know this. He's got a face tattoo.
No,
It's acceptable.
no, that means he gets to use 10% of the word. He can go around saying "and," you guys are a bunch of ends. That's all he gets. He doesn't get the whole word. He's not all black.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but
Right,
he started.
I'm getting summoned, guys. I gotta go. I gotta cut you short. I'm sorry. I'm getting summoned.
Enjoy the camping, brother.
Yeah.
All right, love you. Peace.
You guys, you have a good one, Tanner. Yeah, on the chat box, we were talking about Mr. Platinum Mike Perry, an MMA fighter who did really well in his last fight and got a lot of fans, and just went ahead and fucked it all up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a job anymore pretty soon.
I don't know. Well, it depends. People talk about, the UFC's got a code of conduct, but they kind of don't anymore because I guess back in the day when they made the distinction that these people were independent contractors, not workers for them, you can't have a code of conduct for independent contractors. You can fire or hire them, but you can't do stuff like discipline them because of their conduct.
Well, you can just not give them a fight anymore. It's the same thing, and they have the ability to release people out of their contracts anyways.
Right, but I mean, like people like, they need to take disciplinary action. I'm like, well, they can either have them fight or they can have them not fight. There's no in between ground. The UFC can't fine them like a lot of other like leagues can and shit like that.
Well, yeah, they can't fine him, but they can sure as fuck cut him.
Right, yeah, and which is, I don't know, that's probably what's going to happen. I've seen a couple people actually try to defend Mike on this a little bit because they said that the old man came at him. And I don't even know if that's true or not. The old guy was moving toward him when whoever had the camera decided to shove it up their ass for half a second because then as the guy's swinging, Mike's swinging on him, the camera goes sideways and you don't see shit anymore. So it's really hard to say what actually happened.
Yeah, I think for the most part, like it looked like the old guy was trying to like calm him down along with the rest of that entire mob.
Right. Yeah. Which clearly did not work at all. Okay, yeah, that doesn't give him any excuse because some people said when they watched it, it seemed like the old man basically came up and tried to push him or something, and like, well, you shouldn't hit old people, but once someone pushes you, well, you do have the right to stop people from pushing you.
Well, yes and no. Like you have some old guy trying to like get you away from like the issue because like that wasn't even where the issue started. Like that was after some shit already went down, but like you're trying to calm this guy down and getting him away from the entire situation. Like if you're a professional fighter, you have to fucking know better.
Right. Clearly, it was an error in judgment at the very least, if not a criminal act. And I guess the justice system will decide about that. But yeah, it's a shame. The dude had kind of made a fan out of me after his last fight because of his hilarious interview. But before that, I wasn't really much of a fan of him because he seemed like an asshole. And now apparently I was right. He's an asshole.
Well, this isn't like a new thing for him. Because like and he had an interview, I think, with Ariel before his last fight. And he was like bragging about the time he beat up 2 bouncers.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard something about that.
Like, he is just a legit piece of shit. Exactly, Carl. He's a piece of shit. Perfect. We're in agreement.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're also in agreement that it's probably about time to end the show. I want to thank the OG Army for stopping in. We couldn't do the show without you. I want to thank my partner there, Big Dalton. I'd like to say to you guys, I believe that the chat box is going to go a little smoother from now. I have pretty much everyone blocked that we need to block, so we'll see how that works out. Dalton, you got anything?
Yeah, a couple things. I think based on our prior call here, everybody should get ready and they should prepare themselves to subscribe to Tenor's new YouTube channel where he'll make videos out in the wilderness, fashioning thongs from roughage.
It's the Tenor Caveman Show. He's back to nature.
He is totally going like full on fucking Survivor, man. And it's going to be glorious.
It will be.
But other than that, the only other thing I can think of is everyone that is still here and not banned. Fuck all y'all.
You guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye-bye.
Screw you, hippie!